One thing I love about Star Wars games is how it builds on the lore of the expanded universe. It takes something small and simple and builds on it and creates a larger narrative. Such as it was with Dark Forces in 1995. It took something simple that tied in with the movies, like stealing the Death Star plans, and built on it and made it its own. As the first Star Wars FPS, it was inevitable that Dark Forces would get a sequel, and so it was in 1997 when Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight was released, but with a twist on the Dark Forces formula. Now, Kyle Katarn was Force sensitive. It followed a somewhat reoccurring trend in the expanded universe of taking an already established character and making them Force sensitive. But in this case, Kyle Katarn is just so cool, it worked really well. In fact, he even went on in the expanded universe books to star alongside other characters like Luke Skywalker. I still have my CD copy of Jedi Knight, but had some trouble getting it running. It was too old for the Windows compatibility mode to make it work, and too new for DOSBox to want to be able to make anything work in there either. In the end, I actually found a really handy website called PC Gaming Wiki that had a 64-bit installer that let me use my existing CDs and install the game. There were still some little bits of issues, but you're always going to get that with older games. You're never going to get something that's perfect. And now I can play my game pretty much like I did back when I first bought it. I do have to apologise to you guys though. The last month has been really hectic for me, and I haven't gotten around to finishing Jedi Knight yet. I'm still working through it, and we'll finish it and it'll go up on my YouTube as a playthrough, but I'm really sorry I didn't get through it to experience the whole game, and I'm disappointed that I'm not able to present this as a whole for you guys right now. But enough of that, let's get into the game. Jedi Knight opens not long after Return of the Jedi. Dark Jedi Jarek and his associates are looking for the Valley of the Jedi. Jarek learns that Morgan Katarn, Kyle's father, knew of its location before his death and starts hunting for information on the valley. Meanwhile, Kyle hears that Jarek killed his father from droid information broker 8T88, and that he also has a disc of Morgan's that may contain information, but he can't decipher it. After battling through Nar Shaddaa, Kyle recovers the disc and is picked up by his partner Jan Ors before heading to his homeworld of Sulon. Jarek's forces have beaten him there though and removed a map from Morgan's workshop. Kyle finds an old droid who is able to decode the disc he recovered from 8T88 that reveals more about the Valley of the Jedi. At this point, Kyle also gets his lightsaber. Kyle makes his way to Jarek's ship where he obtains a copy of the map and finally makes it to the Valley of the Jedi and confronts and defeats Jarek. The addition of Force powers make this game more than just a sequel to Dark Forces. There are your core Force skills like speed, pull, jump and sight, but then it branches into light and dark powers. Your light and dark alignment also affects story elements, determining a boss fight as well as if you rise to the light side or fall to the dark. The game still controls very similarly to Dark Forces, with the exception of updated mouse controls, so it's more like what you'd expect from an FPS. Thermal detonators, the Star Wars version of grenades, are still their own weapon rather than a separate button, which is a little annoying, but the game makes up for it by giving most weapons a secondary fire function. Everything in Jedi Knight feels improved from Dark Forces. The character models and enemies are better looking, by 1997 standards, and the controls are just that little bit tighter. An interesting thing this game does is evident as soon as you see a cutscene. Jedi Knight uses actors instead of CGI. It's a path that a few games at the time were taking. Filmed actors worked better than trying to get your CGI cutscenes to do their weird facial expressions, and made for more interesting viewing, even if the actors are somewhat rough around the edges. The maps still feel a bit like the ones in Dark Forces. I got lost a fair bit trying to find my way around a fair number of maps. One map in particular had you trying to find your way into the upper level of a central tower. I explored the outer ring for so long before giving up and looking up a guide because the solution was just not obvious. Even after reading the solution, it still took me a decent amount of time to actually finish that level, going around in circles until I found my way. Another downside is how this game looks on modern PCs, and by that I don't mean the graphics. The cutscenes use the full screen, but for some reason the playable parts of Jedi Knight put the shield health HUD down in the bottom left hand corner and the weapon HUD in the bottom right hand corner, with gameplay taking part in the middle top with huge black borders around them. It was a little odd, and no amount of fiddling with resolution settings would fix it. The game is still a lot of fun though, and messing with Force powers just adds another layer that Dark Forces didn't have. Jedi Knight takes what Dark Forces built and improved it, with the FPS elements supplemented by fun with the Force. I loved Dark Forces when I played it for episode 3 of Star Wars Playtime, even if it was a bit dated. Jedi Knight took the lessons learned from Dark Forces and improved upon that, but kept the core of what made Dark Forces fun. And while there's not a lot of connections between the stories of the two games, who doesn't want to play as a Jedi Knight? And the game gives you differing options between light and dark, as well as different story beats depending on which way you go. I'm sad that I didn't get to finish Jedi Knight before releasing this video, but as I said at the beginning, keep an eye on my YouTube channel and I'll start releasing some play videos there. With all that in mind, I give Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight my Star Wars Playtime rating of 1 more pass. Thank you so much for watching this video. I've enjoyed putting it together and I really hope you've enjoyed watching it. If you have, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe so you can see more of my content and give me advice on what games you want to see me play next. But thank you and we'll see you next time.